Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to the Manson Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the icon, Marilyn Manson. I am your co-host, Alex Sinclair.
And I am your other co-host, Jenna Arkansas.
Welcome to episode 8, where we interview Daniel Fox, a former band member of Marilyn Manson. He toured with Manson for about 6 years, so we have a lot to uncover. So let's get started. All right. Me and Jenna are both sick right now, so
we are going through it. Everybody's like tour blues, and we're like, yeah, tour fucking sick.
I'm sick enough where I sound like a man, like an extra man again. So, all right. So we have a lot to discuss before we get into the interview with Daniel Fox, which a lot of people are so excited for. This is actually our first former band member that we're interviewing. So this is very exciting for us as well. Let's get started with the new song with Falling in Reverse, God is a Weapon. That was a nice little surprise.
That was an excellent surprise.
So God is a Weapon came out May 20th. I was actually on the way to see Manson in New Orleans. I was on a plane when that released, and I listened to it on the plane, and I love the song instantly. To be completely honest, I really don't know that much of Falling in Reverse songs, but I can just tell that that's kind of out of their realm. Like, do you know more about Falling in Reverse, Jenna?
Okay, so I listened to Ronnie when Ronnie was in Escape the Fates, and then, of course, then he just switched over to Falling in Reverse. I am a product of Hot Topic, I guess you would say, and that very first Falling in Reverse album came out while I was working at Hot Topic, so I listened to a lot of Falling in Reverse. I mean, that band was hot at the time. I still have mad love for that first album. I will say I don't know much after it, because I feel like some of the genres and stuff changed in Hot Topic at the time, but I heavily listened to that first album. I can still jam that right now. I wouldn't say that it is anything from that first album, but I know as time went on, I think Ronnie kind of changed the sound a little bit. But I mean, it's like a sexy kind of song.
It is. That's what I thought on the plane. I was like, damn, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Ronnie has got great vocal range. He always has. So I feel like we get a really great selection of that in the song. Because, I mean, he is screaming. He's got that great...
He has like that falsetto.
Yeah, just like... It's great. I've seen all the reaction videos, and people were just like shitting their pants when they saw Manson come on the screen with the video. I mean, because the video is sick as fuck too. They were like freaking the fuck out, and I mean, it's trending all over everywhere, which I think is amazing for Ronnie and Manson both.
So, speaking of vocals, I just want to touch on this real quick. A lot of Manson fans are loving Manson's vocals on this track because they feel like it sounds more like him than what we have on One Assassination Under God. It is very clear that his vocals do sound different on that album, but I personally love it. But a lot of the fans feel like that Manson's vocals on God as a Weapon sound more like him, and everyone's like, whoever produced this track needs to produce Manson's next record. But we're pretty sure that the record chapter 2 is already done, so
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. And also the music video for this song was incredible, and it also stars Dana Dentata. A lot of people don't know who Dana Dentata is. I actually got introduced to her back in 2019 when she opened up for Marilyn Manson for the Las Vegas Halloween show. She was incredible. I had no idea who she was. I've never heard of her. I was front row. Me and my best friend, we waited all day. We showed up in line at the Pearl Theater in the Palms at like 7 a.m. So we were right up front, and like I said, I've never heard of her before in my life, and I was blown away. I loved her. She has her own thing going on. She was in a punk band, and then she kind of got into rap. I'm not really sure what genre she falls under, but she has her own thing going on for a while now, and she's been a friend of Manson's for quite some time. But so that's who Dana is. And then Ronnie and Dana got hooked up, and now it's like they're all together. You know what I mean? It's really cool how they're all friends, and they're all working together. And Dana's also a model. She was a model for years when she was younger. She has a very interesting story. So, anyways, we're going to move on. That was a nice surprise. The visuals are insane. They're great. They're different. Not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting some hardcore track, but it's like a sexy kind of video and track. So,
and we got plenty of little Manson Easter eggs. And I saw something that said everything in that video is very calculated. Everything they did in it, they did it for a reason. If you have not checked out that video, take a look at it. I mean, you ain't gotta, like, I don't know, 200 feet deep into it, but it does have some meanings to it.
There's a lot of Manson references. Dana looking like mechanical animals, the album cover. She holds up a mirror that's like a reference to Golden Age of Grotesque. Ronnie is coming out of the water looking like disposable teens. I mean, there's a lot of things in there. So check it out if you haven't already. So Manson wrapped his spring tour in Dallas, Texas on May 25th. Me and Jenna were actually there. Jenna was planning on going the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but kind of last minute. And then I decided super last minute to go.
Because that's what we do.
That's what we do. It was a great show. I mean, it was very hot. It was extremely hot.
I tried to tell you that Texas heat was no joke.
Oh my God, it was so hot. So, and Manson was under these hot stage lights and hot clothes. I mean, but he delivered. He did great. We're all just waiting for the fall tour now. That's going to be coming up. A lot of people think that he finished early with Beautiful People. None of us know the set list. So we can't really speak on if he finished early or not. I could just tell you, though, that it was very obvious that he was hot.
If you needed a reference of how hot it was, all you needed to do was look at Reba's hair. She was drenched.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, not to mention the people standing around us were drenched.
Yeah, the guy sitting right next to us, I swear on my life, because we showed up late. We only wanted to see Manson. So the guy that was sitting right next to us, I'm not even joking, he was completely dry. And then as soon as Manson started playing, he got really into it and he was soaking wet. But he finished with grace. He finished strong. And like I said, we're all just waiting for the fall tour. And we also got to meet Colonel Kurtz was there with her sister. And we also got to meet Lauren, his old assistant, who was awesome. So it was really cool to see some people there. So after the show, Jenna and I were able to see Manson after the show for a little bit. It would be weird if we didn't address this because it's all over our social media, and I know some people want us to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it too much, but yes, we got to see Manson, and it was great. He was very sweet and very kind, and so was Lindsay. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
A lot of people are speculating when Chapter 2 is coming out. And before we answer this, we do not have any inside information. I promise. This is us just speculating.
I've had a lot of people messaging me just like personally about when Chapter 2 is going to come out. I have no idea. I love the element of surprise. I love when it just randomly gets dropped on me. I don't like when the tour gets dropped on me out of nowhere. But as far as the albums go, I don't really care. I think it would be cool if it came out maybe before the tour starts in the fall. But I'm not saying that it will. But it would be cool if it came out just in the thing of he is got a pretty long fall tour ahead of him.
A lot of people are speculating that it's going to come out before tour because the fall tour is called One Assassination Under God Tour. And I feel like the tour that just wrapped was called Manson's Spring One Assassination Under God Tour or something like that, like Spring Tour or something. But who knows? We don't know. I think if it doesn't come out before the fall tour, it's going to come out early next year. I don't know. But like you said, we like surprises. Would think because of how long his tour is in the fall, it could come out in the fall. And it would have to be like early September. If that doesn't work, if it doesn't come out this year, I think it would be in the fall. If it doesn't come out in the fall, then I think early next year. And that means more touring next year.
But I could also possibly see him just dropping a couple of singles off of Chapter 2
That's true.
and kind of giving those a whirl on the fall tour.
That actually seems more plausible.
This is coming out of my brain. Didn't hear nothing from anybody. All I know is the man has always got a calculated way of releasing something.
That actually seems more plausible. That seems like more of what his style is to release some singles and videos before then and then release the album later on. And that kind of makes more sense. So maybe a single in September and then the album like early next year or at the very end of this year. We're all waiting for it.
It's a guessing game.
Yeah, it's seriously a guessing game. But we're all waiting for it and we're all very excited because that means more videos, more merch, more vinyls, more tours.
All the things. Our bank account's hurting.
All right, so since we're talking about tour, let's not forget, and we've been talking about it a lot, his fall tour officially kicks off in September 20th at the Roxy Theater in Pittsburgh. But before then, he does have some festival dates. And I did fuck up the last episode. I said that his tour starts in Louisville, which, he does have a date there, but it's a festival. So the first solo show for Manson is September 20th at the Roxy Theater in Pittsburgh. And I think it's on the verge, if it's not already, I think it's on the verge of selling out. We're planning on going to, as of right now, I'm sure we might add more, we're for sure going to Denver, September 25th.
Yes, we'll be in Denver. And I know a lot of you guys were definitely great about coming and seeing us at the New Orleans show. We didn't get to really meet as many of you in Dallas just because it was such a last minute kind of thing. But I did want to thank everybody that gave out flyers for us at the shows. I know we had Frank gave out flyers with his wife and his amazing daughter at the Philly show.
We have Doris.
Doris from the Marilyn Manson cult. She handed out flyers for us. What was it? Myrtle Beach and Charlotte.
I think so, yeah.
Yes. And then we also had Carla that handed out for us in Atlanta. And then I was able to actually personally hand flyers to give out to Donovan. I got to give those to him in New Orleans that he handed out in Houston. So thank you guys so much for doing that. That just helps us get the word out a little bit more. And obviously we can't go to every single show, but we appreciate you guys so much handing those out.
Yeah, we definitely gained a lot of followers because of that. So thank you guys. Also, when we got to see Manson in Dallas after his show, which was his final show, me and Jenna were able to give him this flag that I had made, custom made. And a lot of people have questions about this flag, which I'll get into in a second. But a lot of you guys took pictures with this flag in Grand Rapids, in New Orleans, and in Rockville, and Daytona. And we were able to give it to him. And it's a custom-made flag. It's all black, and it says, "You cannot kill Marilyn Manson." And in the middle is the shock symbol. Like I said, a lot of people have questions about this flag and where they can get it. I got it custom-made from a website. The website itself is called Anley. It's ANLEY.com. Obviously, they don't have it on there to order. I custom made it, so you'll have to custom make it. It was a great flag, and a lot of people enjoyed it, and Manson very much enjoyed it, and I was very happy to give that to him because, like I said, a lot of his fans took pictures with it. It's a great flag. It obviously means a lot because Manson's been through everything, and it's very obvious that you cannot get this guy down or cancel him or any of that. So that is the info on the flag. So I'm going to get into some facts about Daniel Fox before we interview him real fast. So Daniel is from Cleveland, Ohio. He is born and raised there, and he still lives there. And he's multi-talented. He plays a ton of different instruments, keyboard, guitar, drums. He's also an instrument tech on tour. I feel like this guy is kind of a jack of all trades. He's very talented. Some bands he has played for besides Marilyn Manson are Dope, Mushroom Head, Wednesday 13, Twisted, Cyclone 9, Ventata, A Killer's Confession, and Crossbreed. And he has drum teched for Mudvayne, Static X, and Rob Zombie. I mean, that's a huge lineup right there. This guy is always busy, so we're very grateful that he made some time for us. And I think he is on tour right now as we speak. When he's doing this interview, he's on tour with someone right now. So he was with Manson from 2012 and 2018. Now, that is 6 years of Manson touring a ton. So, just to kind of break it down so people might recognize the tours that you might have seen him on, that is the Born Villain to Heaven Upside Down era. So, he was in those album cycles during tour. I know I saw him a bunch. Like I said, Manson toured a lot during those 6 years. So we have some questions for Mr. Daniel Fox. One thing that I also want to bring up real fast, and we talked about this while I was asking him some information. He's going to talk about this further. What I find super interesting is that Daniel Fox was a Manson fan when he was a child. So he got to play for one of his heroes and one of his, biggest influences. So that's super awesome. And I cannot wait to get into that because that's very special. And like I said, he'll probably discuss this further. According to Daniel, he saw Manson's Lunchbox music video on Headbangers Ball on MTV at the age of 8 years old because he was waiting for Kiss, but instead he saw a Manson video. We'll get into that more. I'm just so excited because it's like a fan growing up, living out his dream for playing with one of his biggest idols. So, okay, let's try to get Daniel Fox on the phone here. First of all, thank you for joining the Manson Podcast, Daniel Fox.
Absolutely honored. Love it.
Let's get into the first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what got you into becoming a musician.
Okay. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Loved Kiss growing up and all that, and just loved theatrics and Alice Cooper. And yeah, that's what kind of led to wanting to do that for a career. And a big part of that was seeing Manson on Headbangers Ball in '94.
How did that make you feel seeing the Lunchbox music video for the first time?
It just made me want to pursue actually doing this. There's something about the way they look, the song, a package that it sold me as a little kid. Like this is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life in some way or another.
I know you mentioned Kiss and glam rock as some of your musical influences, but what other influences do you have?
Funny enough, with Jordy, I always loved Striper growing up. I was born in '85. So I had my uncle who passed down stuff. And that's how I watched Headbangers Ball so much growing up as a kid. So how I caught Manson, and that's what is this band? I loved it. Is it a girl or a guy? It was so rad. Scott's guitar playing, it was just so cool.
This was a huge question from the fans. How did the opportunity of playing with Manson come about?
It came through when I got to job the drum tech for him and run playback and all that stuff. I was on tour with Mushroom at the time. I wanted to get out of that camp, and our sound guy, we seen what was going on. He's like, "Hey, do you want drumsticks from Marilyn Manson?" I'm like, "Are you fucking with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to." So a couple months went by, and it came about, and I got hired. Our first show was in Minnesota. Then a couple weeks later, we went to Russia, and I totally lied about knowing the rigs and everything. That led to a couple tours later down the line. So one day, him and Manson were talking about the show or something. He mentioned that I played drums, and we were in Germany. So we're doing the crew band sound check, and we're playing Antichrist, and I'm playing drums. And later that night, Manson goes, "I saw you playing drums." So after that, he's like, "Why don't you just play drums for me?" So I guess things weren't working out. So I was supposed to play drums at the 2014. I get my years mixed up because I tour a lot and all that.
Yeah.
But that was supposed to happen. But then he met Tyler, and he brought Gil along. I understand it now, and I used to hold so much resentment, but I seen him recently, and the show was it was phenomenal in Detroit.
So you did see him live recently?
Yeah, I played Get Your Gun. I was with my girl, and I took off into the pit, and it was just like, this sounds so good. The drums were fucking so good. The saxophone sounds are there. Like this fucking rules.
Okay, so when you're on the road with Manson and it's a day of a show, what does that typically look like?
Set everything up, get it all ready to go, change drum heads, polish cymbals, fix the broken kick drums that somebody broke the night before.
Oh,
And some techs would be like so sick of fucking fixing these kick drums. Like this rules. Like I'm pulling a microphone stand out of the inner shell of the kick. This is fucking hilarious. Like, why are you mad? But that would be it. Like fix stuff, and then they would come in, rock through a song, and then wait for set change and do the show.
so is it a lot of waiting around?
So much waiting around. Yeah, it's so much downtime with that because they take care of their crew. That's what I'll always tell anyone that asks. Like A1, like we had the best hotels, like the best food. Like he looked out for his crew, and it was really rad because a lot of bands don't. They don't care, and it's here's what you get. But he always cared about his crew, and that's super important for any. You know what I mean? Just doing it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because obviously we all know the dude gets a bad rap all the time. It's like if you only really knew that he does and cares about, like normally, like on a tour where it's say you're the drum tech, you don't really have that much interaction with your artist that you work for, especially the lead singer of the band. But that dude like always made me feel welcome. He never made me feel like out of the circle because I loved his band. I just ruled. He was treating me so good and didn't judge me on like really liking his band. He'd always like, well, Daniel will know what this is, and like being in rehearsal with his knowledge on things, he would hear shit and call it out because I would do like some of the keyboard stuff. Like Angel with the Scab wings is missing this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Then I listen back and I'm like, holy shit, he's right. Fuck.
Everything I feel is out there on the internet about Manson, but there's a couple things. Him doing sound checks, you know what I mean? And like recording. That's not out there. And that was one of my questions, and you kind of answered it, was how is he like to work musically with? And because I want to know like what that process is like. But you kind of just talked about it.
Yeah. Like I said, his ear is really good and he remembers. Like he was, even though it was a period where he was drinking a lot and doing what he did, but he was still on point. Like he cared. That's like, it comes down to the dude cared about his music, how it sounded. Like a lot of people don't. They're like, all right, we'll just get up there, do it. And that's why I admire it. And I still love it to this day because you go to see the band and there's still a show.
Right.
And I love that. Same with Zombie and all that. Even Alice Cooper. Like, it's all still a show and they give a fuck.
Is there a specific performance that stands out to you during your time with Manson, or just an overall favorite memory?
Probably when we went to Cincinnati and my grandma got to come out and I was doing the keyboard thing on the Slipknot tour.
Uh-huh.
It was like kind of full circle because she had taken me to see him in '95 at the Odeon and like kind of got me into this mess. It was cool to like be on stage with them and have Twiggy right there and have him, and just it was really cool for her to see that.
Oh, so that was like a full circle moment.
That's amazing.
Totally. You know, back in the '90s, like it was kind of like you weren't allowed to do that, and people you'd always get questioned. Like we were on the news from when Antichrist came to Dead of the World Tour came to our arena in Cleveland. We were on the news like, how are you going to take your kid to see this night? He's going to go. He's going to be fine. The protester was trying to offer like 3 times the ticket value to burn our tickets for the show and have me not go. And she's on there like defending it. And she always defended him. So it was cool, you know? And he treated her so good when she came out, like so good, like went above and beyond. And that's the thing too. It's like I was getting to earlier about this being a drum tech. Like usually don't have that interaction with your artists that you work for.
Right.
And that dude always went above and beyond, like a true gentleman. And that's why I got so much love for that guy.
Aww.
He never owed me shit. And people would tell me like, well, the dude's told you to be a drummer. You know, I'm like, it doesn't matter. That dude doesn't owe me shit. Like he did so much. And like we'd be in LA, like I would do like help pick him up some nights when he was done recording with Tyler around like the Pale Emperor. And I was going through like bad times, like needed to talk about stuff. And he would sit there and talk about stuff and it like just be like a dude to a dude. And, like this guy he has enough shit on his plate and he's taking time out of his day to talk to me about my life. Like that's a friend, you know?
These are very important stories, I feel like, people to hear. So it's amazing you have all of these experiences with him. Even just a small glimpse of hearing this is amazing.
Right on. Yeah, I can't say enough about my experience with the band and him, you know. And Twiggy too. He knew, like, because like everyone always compared me, like, well, you look like Pogo, and Twiggy's like, of course I do. Like, that's my shit. Like, that's what I learned. And that was the other thing with makeup. It's like, I didn't know how to do makeup. When I played Mushroom Head, we wore a mask, and I got to be on stage. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he like would show me how to do makeup, and I'm like,
Oh.
the dude showing you how to do makeup. This is fucking wild. Like, it's just looking back at it now, because that's the other thing too. I wanted to get across with my message. Like, so I took it for granted sometimes. I was like, just when I didn't get the drummer gig, it's like I just, you know what I mean? Just I acted like a intolerable child sometimes, which kind of led to like when I exited my time from him was because of that. You know, I was just being a little prick, ungrateful little prick. I'm a little older. I can acknowledge that. And be like, yeah, maybe you would have been the drummer by now. We went through a couple other dudes, and that's always my dream to play drums and everything. I love the songs. I love playing them. Even I get to tour with so many bands, and a lot of my favorite bands. I'm very grateful for that. But nothing feels like playing like Disposable Teens. Like, that shit's so fun to play on drums. But maybe I would have been there if I would have had a better disposition of myself and not being like a diva, you know? And it goes back to with like being mad at Tyler for having like coming in. It's like things change, because when I was at Buttermed, you just had your spot and you were kind of there, and you're just like territorial. You're there. Like, people come in and out of the music business, and I learned that it's okay. It's like, be grateful for the time you have, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of fans that wrote in and said that they miss you, though.
Oh, right on.
I was going to say, you had a very big impact because we had a ton of questions from people. Even at the shows that me and Alex just went to, people were very excited because they saw that you were going to be on, and they have had so much excitement. People are going to freak on this episode for sure.
That's rad. I bet my best friend, like, that I play in with my band Ventana is Rick. He used to be a Mushroom as well, Stitch. And we bonded over Marilyn Manson. Like, it's like a universal thing. Like, oh, you fuck with Marilyn Manson? Word. Me too. And we were on this I played for this band called The Killer's Confession, which is Waylon, formerly a Mushroom Head. And we were on this last tour, and their van broke down. So they all came on our RV for the last 2 weeks of it. And then the drummer quit, so I'm filling in, and they lost another guy. But we're like listening to Portrait of American Family, pushing through this like most treacherous tour of fucking 21 years of doing this. But we're rocking out the Get Your Gun, all headbanging, like we're all fucking Manson kids.
That song really does hit.
It really does.
It was so good. I remember when he first started playing, when Gil and Tyler and Paul were in the band. He like hit up, I want to play Get Your Gun, but I don't have the samples. I'm like, dude, I'll figure it out for you. Like, I could hit him on time. He's like, you think you could do it? I'm like, dude, when we did it in it wasn't Amsterdam, somewhere in the Netherlands, I think. But it was the first night. I'm like up there hitting the samples. We only did it a couple nights on that tour.
Okay.
It was a rarity, but it was like that song was so important. And like, even to this day, you could replace talk show commentary with social media commentaries, and it still works. But it's hits so hard. And hearing them play it at the Detroit show is like, I couldn't stand there anymore. Like, I got to run down in the pit. Like, I got to go play drums. And if I break my ankle, I break my ankle. So then I got in there, and I'm like, holy shit. It's been a couple of years. This is like, I'm all right with this, but it's getting concerning a little bit. Oh, God.
Right?
Yep.
We were just at the venue in Grand Rapids last night that he just played, where the fire alarm went off.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it because they seen like my case. I still rock Manson stickers on them and stuff.
Oh.
They're like, they were great. It was like, it came through and it was awesome. Like, yeah, dude, they're great. And when he called me when he was sober for the first time, like, I thought it was a joke, because I'm used to the accent thing. Like, what are you doing, little girl? And he comes like, hey, dude, what's going on? And it's like, hey. He's like, hey, it's Manson. I'm like, it's like, I'm sober now. And I'm like, holy shit, it is. Could you hear the voice? It's like, and we talked, and I hear this dude in the background talking, and it's like, yo, man, people love you. You the Antichrist. You the Antichrist, Manson. And he's like, who are you talking to on the phone? I'm like, my friend Daniel. And he's like, what up, Daniel? And it was fucking Kanye.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was in Germany with him, and he's like, just called me to like catch up on stuff. And I'm like, my girlfriend came home, and she's like, what's up? Are you all right? Somebody die? I'm like, well, I'm sober, and Kanye West said hello to me. I immediately went down to the drum kit and just started playing, like, because I play a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
The drums, I love hip hop. And just started playing Kanye tracks. When I get ready for dope every night, I wear the makeup similar to, like, the Manson stuff because I love it. It's just part of my personality, and I love it, and I just love doing that. But I get ready to hip hop like we used to do in the Manson tours, just loud hip hop. Because everyone always asks me, like, oh, why you just do your Manson thing like you did with those guys? I'm like, I just ripped off Twiggy's makeup because when I was doing the Slipknot tour, doing the keyboard thing and the fake percussion, but drum teching for Gil still. So I was like doing double duty. So I only had like a couple minutes to get ready. It's like the easiest way to do this is just to rip off Twiggy's makeup. And I asked him, like, do you care? And he's like, no, I don't care at all. And that was why I always did that style makeup.
So you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but can you tell us about what happened in Texas when you're on tour with Manson?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was, like, fired, like, going to have to find the job and all this shit. So here's the story. We played to Denver. The show, like, didn't go so well. But everything was all good. But an old tour buddy brought us, like, these jars, like, of mad, like, dank weed. So we're going from Denver to San Antonio for a day off, then the Aztec Theater show. We finally get to there after this long drive because we had two drivers so we could continuously do it and not have to stop. So after 19 hours, we get there, about to go sleep on a little blunt. I'm talking about the most minuscule, like, pathetic, like, end of the night blunt roach smoking. This fucking cop on a mountain bike rolls up, and I, like, try to throw it and, like, go out and run way up into the hotel entrance. Throw this bike down, slams me on the ground, handcuffs all this deal. Like, tell him what I'm doing. Like, dude, I'm just smoking weed. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was illegal here, yada, yada, yada. They booked me, put me in this fucking van where I could have broken my neck. Have you seen the videos where they don't strap you in?
Yeah.
The dude broke his neck. Not strapped in. It's funny enough, they're like playing Terrible Lie, like on the radio by Nine Inch Nails. We're over railroad tracks, and I'm not strapped in. So thankfully nothing happened to me. But I'm in there for 19 hours for a fucking blunt roach. Then they're literally fingerprinting my hands to beautiful people because they, like, found my laminates on me and asked me what I was doing. Like, I'm in town, I work for a band, blah, blah, blah. So I'm getting fingerprinted to that. The dude next to me in the jail cell had stabbed his girlfriend in the stomach. The other dude, I don't know what was going on.
Oh my God.
So we're in there. So I had to call this thing and memorize this number to the payphone, run to the payphone, then type in this other number. So I'm, like, freaking out. I got a hold of my girlfriend and told her to get a hold of Shane, who is a Manson's, like, wardrobe assistant dude at the time, who was, like, my brother for life. When I talk about meeting friends for Manson, like, my life would have been different not meeting my homie Shane. I love that dude so much. But he gets me bailed out with him. And I think I'm getting fired. Like, no, you're not getting fired. You're getting raised. Like, that's funny. So then the fucking show happens, and I see our production manager walk up with, like, a Kinko's box and hand, like, a stack of my 8x10. That's what led to the 8x10. And to bring him weed. And then he said, fuck the police, with a bunch of off-duty cops that went to our production manager. Like, yeah, there's going to be repercussions for that shit. Then it gets even better. On the same stage of that show, there was a little room because some of us were mad stoners. Like, that's all I do is smoke weed. Like, it's been 6 years since I drank. I stopped drinking, but I love smoking weed. I'll never give it up. So we see this room. We're like, all right, we're going to pop over there. We're going to smoke some weed. We shut the door. Our other homie's like, yo, you fucking idiots. There's a cop outside the door right now. You got to put this shit out, and I'll let you know when you're good to go. So we get out of there. My one guy runs left. I go straight. And, of course, there's a giant 8-foot fucking cinder block wall. I somehow over this fucking wall, and I'm running back to our buses, and then they're walking Manson out, Shane and Chud. And they're like, what are you running from? But it's just one of these stupid fucking stories that no one would ever believe. That was just funny times. That was a lot of the Texas shit.
Wait, Jenna, tell Daniel you know someone with his mugshot from the show.
I guess it was in the San Antonio show. He had that picture printed out of you, like that 8x10 of your mugshot printed out.
Yeah.
We met somebody at the New Orleans show. I think her name's Ashley. She still has the photo that Manson like tossed out to the crowd.
Yeah, 'cause everyone's like, "What the hell is it?" And like, it's some dude's face. Like, and our guitar tech Shannon had it in the guitar boat for a while. Then I had like the googly eye sticker things on my eyes.
Okay, so you kind of already answered this, but was Manson, because he kind of seemed like a father figure to you, do you consider him a mentor of yours?
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got a lot of shit going on. That dude's he's a legit rock star, and like, he would take time out of his day for like my bullshit, like, you are, how you doing, all that.
Yeah.
Always wish me happy birthday. Always made sure my birthday was special on tour. It's like, that shit was cool because my grandma's gone now, my grandpa's gone, and I don't have the greatest relationship with my mom. And I still haven't met my dad, so it's like that's where Manson, I think, the entity of Manson, like, that filled a lot of voids of that stuff. And like I said, you'd have a bad time, that's what you relied on, like when you relied on music. So, of course, yeah, he was definitely a father figure who looked out for my little bitch ass on tour.
So you kind of already answered this too, but so why did you leave Manson's camp? Because were they just going in a different direction?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like I said before, I had a lot of resentment because it kind of blocked me and my chances of being the drummer. But overall, it was just a way to conduct myself. I was just being a little diva little bitch, and it was just time to go.
Gotcha.
So I got let go, and that was probably the best thing that ever happened for me. It's like, even to this day, like, just growing as a better human.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it sounds like you keep up with Shane from the Manson camp, right? Do you keep up with anyone
Yeah.
else?
Some of the people I just saw, his old monitor guy Bruce, a sesh master.
Okay.
We played in Grand Rapids at his spot, and he's got mad love for him still, and says he missed it. But we had a little clique of people out there, like the front of house guy who got me my job. Those guys were best friends. It was all family out there, so I try to keep up with everybody.
This was probably the most asked question. What do you think of Manson's new era, and what is your favorite song off the new album?
I absolutely adore it and love it. Because when we were out on that last tour I was telling you about, that was not a disaster. We made it work, but just being hard. But every night, my band Ventana, we would come out. Our opening song would be One Assassination Under God. I just love that song, and it's just, there's something about it.
Yeah.
My favorite era will always be the Portrait, Don't Play Children, Mechanical, or Antichrist, up to Hollywood. Those are like the ones that meant the most to me. But this last record, it just resonated so good, and they just did a great job. Like, people that aren't into Manson, that are in my friend circle, would jam. If we jam in a rehearsal space where there's like 400 rooms, and people come in and out, and they would come by like, "Yo, we know you're the Manson dude. Like, that new record fucking slaps." And they're like, whatever they talk like now, and all that.
Right.
But it's just so good. They go in to see it live. It's like, they killed it. Gil fucking's drum sounded so good. And it's just, I'm happy for him. And seeing him in the Kabuki drops, it's like, whoa, we're in 97 again.
What is your favorite song off the album? Is it One Assassination?
That one, or Raise a Red Flag.
Same.
Like, so good. Like, when that video came out, I'm like, all right, did it. He fucking did it.
Okay, so
know?
who are you currently working with now? I know you're on tour as we speak.
Yeah, I'm in a Killer's Confession, which is Waylon, formerly a Mushroom Head, Stitch, formerly a Mushroom Head, myself, formerly a Shroom, and then also playing bass and dope, which is my main thing.
Okay.
Then Guar's on tour with this as well, but then I'm drum tech for Static X and play one of the robots that runs around on the stage. It's a long day every day.
Damn.
But yeah, we're doing that now until about June 20th, and I have a couple festival things with the Killer Confession. Then we go to Europe with Static, but I also play for the Juggalo hip hop band Twisted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, I cannot say enough, because they're big fans of Manson too. Because when I started playing with them, I had this shirt, and like, "Yo, you fuck with Manson?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you." And he's like, "Man, I had this old car. It was a beat up piece of shit. But I had that Portrait of America's Family fucking TV sticker on that bumper, though. Holy shit, the dude from Twist is talking to you that you're playing in drums for now about your love for Marilyn Manson. Like, it was like, it's like weed. Manson's like weed. It's a universal language.
It is.
It really is.
So, Daniel, how many instruments do you play?
I play bass, somewhat keyboards. Like, I can't nowhere near like Yanni or anything like that. But keyboards and primarily drums.
So you're like a jack of all trades, pretty much.
I try to be universal wherever I can help out. You know, like whether it's running around in a robot suit with Static X. I just love doing shows. And some people may sound cliche, but I love seeing like the younger generation that comes to see the show, and you can see the excitement like we used to do.
Right.
You know, we'd be at the show and like so stoked, and the kids that are waiting in line, and especially if it's a Manson kid, I always try to bring. I have a plethora of old set lists from every night and like guitar picks. So if I see someone, I usually try to have something on hand when they come to like dope meet and greets or anywhere, any place, you know, because the kid will be mind blown. Like, this dude just handed me a fucking Marilyn Manson guitar pick because I said rad shirt.
Oh yeah.
Like, I love that. I love to see the generation keep my favorite band going.
You know, me and Jenna, we did some interviews with these shows that we went to with fans, and there is a whole younger generation that's coming up that's like obsessed with him.
It's crazy,
isn't it?
Not in a bad way, but it's just like so cool to like that we're a bit older now. Like, when I would do my joke thing, people were like, dude, I love your stage presence. It's so fucking rad. I'm like, well, you should check out the Dead to the World Tour video, because that's where I steal all my shit from.
Right.
That's the blueprint.
I'm on stage with Dope. I always call it the Twiggy Angel with the scab wings fucking headbang. Because that dude I don't know how that he hasn't had back surgery yet. He would go so hard, and I was so impressionable. It's like watching that dude rip out the Angel. Now I'm on stage with Dope doing like the same thing, and it's like, it's fucking so cool. I've never like written a hit record or have a like song on I've done my own little band and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, I've made it a million times over with just feeling it and giving that vibe and like just inspiring people. That's priceless to me.
It is.
I'm an entertainer, and I've always loved doing that.
Well, we miss you, Daniel. We hope that we can see you. Do you think you'll be back?
I would drop everything to go back. I love, especially in a better headspace and when, you know, understanding more about life. It's growing up a few years. I would go back in a heartbeat. I would drop it all. Because I'd never laughed so hard. And just had like the crew too, just had so much fun times, and just putting that show up and like waiting for the kabuki to drop for Antichrist to make sure the 3 shock symbols dropped. Like, down to that stuff. Like, that's what I cared about so much. But then the Slipknot tour, we had a couple guys that were working that they didn't give a fuck, and one would drop down backwards, one wouldn't drop down at all, and it's like, this is like the pinnacle of the fucking show. There's no
and you're fucking it up.
Yeah,
like trying to throw a water bottle at the fucking solenoid in the truss, trying to drop the goddamn thing.
Oh my god.
That's the other thing too. It sucks when you talk to people like, yeah, I went to see Manson. All I did was break shit on stage. Like, it's just part of like the show. Like, that's what I live for every night. Like, when shit would get broken, like in my own band, like breaking stuff, it's way more expensive and it sucks, but it was just, it's such a liberating feeling throwing a kick drum across the stage.
Right?
As silly and immature as it sounds.
I get it. I understand, because it's like a bunch of pent up rage on the road.
Yeah, like it just translates so well. Like when you see like the old Keith Moon and the Who, and even like Reznor and all the punk, it's like a punk rock that's just, and I don't know. And I just grew up watching Twiggy smash Thunderbird basses and the drum kits and fuck Ginger up. Ginger, like Kenneth Wilson, he is my favorite drummer because he taught me dynamic and playing as a kid, to let like the backing beats breathe in the mix and not be on top of everything, and learning how to be under pressure when a singer's coming at you with fucking a microphone stand. I just understood like getting the cues to start the song, and like that's so important. Because you'll go to see an artist and they can't get it together. They're trying to start the song, it's like a fucking mess. And like, that's how I got to do so many gigs. I was just understood all that. And funny enough, Edsel has a weird in this circle, because he grew up with Ginger in Florida. So those two have known each other forever. Then Manson knew him because I was doing assistant stuff at his house one night. And I was living with Edsel in Northridge. And he said something. I'm like, are you still living with Edsel? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, when you go home tonight, you should call him Ronald McDonald. I'm like, all right. Word. He's like, you care to explain? He's like, no, you'll see. I go to the E. I'm like, what's up, Ronald McDonald? And he's like, no, you fucking hang out with Brian, huh? Let me tell you about those motherfuckers. He's been hanging out for a long time with them, but he loves me like just as much as us. He would rock the Manson with us.
Yeah.
Like he would tell. He was down in like New Orleans when they were recording all that stuff, and it's just cool that all these people in the circle like got nothing but good things to say about him. You know.
Daniel, thank you so much for your time. We're looking at your tour dates and we're like, this guy doesn't have a day off, like hardly ever.
Yeah, they're few and far between, but I would take any time to talk about this because I love it still. You know, I love talking about it. I love meeting people that care about it and come to our shows and like I said, you know, like yeah, this is where this come from. Yo, I look like Pogo. I absolutely do because that stuff is so important. Like to show your influences because I would read about those guys who their influence where I'm like, I don't want to listen to this shit. Like this isn't heavy, but now I'm like, that's some of my favorite stuff to listen to.
Right.
And just getting the influences out. So yeah, anytime you want to talk, I'm here. And if we're ever in town near you guys, just let me know. I'll put you on the list.
I know. I was telling Jen, I was like, there's so many times that Daniel's been here because you travel with like so many different bands. And I was like, there's been so many times he's been here and I can't see him because I feel like there's always something going on. Like I always miss you guys.
Right. There's always a bad day
yeah. Or it's like I'm out of town or, you know, or I'm going to another show or some shit. I'll definitely come see you guys.
Anytime. We're Static's going out with Mudvayne in this fall too. I might be closer to you, but if you come through, let me know.
Okay.
I'll take care of you.
All right. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
All right, we're going to wrap up this episode 8 with Daniel Fox. Thank you so much again for joining the Manson Podcast. Also, I know we've talked about it a lot, but Manson is going on tour in the fall, starting September 20th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tickets are going pretty fast, so get on it if you guys want to go.
Yeah, there's only 10 headlining shows, so I would not miss those because we don't know when he'll tour again in the U.S.
Jenna and I will be in Denver, Colorado, September 25th, because it is Jenna's birthday.
Woo! If any of you wanted to come hang out then because your girl is turning, well, I guess I shouldn't say girl anymore. Nah, fuck it. Your girl is turning 40, so come hang out.
Thank you guys for listening. You can find me on Instagram at Alex Sinclair.
And you can find me on the gram at Jenna X Arkansas.
You can also find the podcast on Instagram at Manson Podcast. And until next time, take care of yourself and we'll see you soon.
Bye.